The current war in Ukraine is deeply rooted in the complex historical relationship between Russia and Ukraine. Both nations share roots in Eastern Slavic civilization, with Kiev, the Ukrainian capital, serving as the cradle of the first East Slavic state, Kievan Rus. However, centuries of diverging historical trajectories marked by periods of unity and conflict have shaped their distinct identities and national aspirations. Under the Soviet Union, Ukraine became a republic, but its history, language and culture were often suppressed in favor of Russian dominance. The Soviet policy of Holodomor, a man-made famine in the 1930s, resulted in millions of Ukrainian deaths and left a deep scar on the nation's psyche, fueling resentment towards Moscow. Despite the hardships endured under Soviet rule, Ukraine played a vital role in the USSR's economy, boasting fertile lands and a strong industrial base. The Chernobyl disaster in 1986, however, exposed the shortcomings of the Soviet system and further ignited Ukrainian desires for self-determination. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine declared its independence, inheriting a complex legacy of intertwined history, shared borders, and unresolved tensions with its former imperial master, Russia. The year 2014 marked a turning point in the relationship between Russia and Ukraine, setting the stage for the current conflict. Following the Euromaidan Revolution, which ousted Ukraine's pro-Russian president Viktor Yanukovych, Russia moved swiftly to annex the Crimean Peninsula, a strategically important region with a majority Russian population. The annexation of Crimea was met with widespread international condemnation and triggered a series of sanctions against Russia. However, the Kremlin's actions emboldened pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine, who launched an armed insurgency in the Donbas region, comprising the Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts. The conflict in Donbas, fueled by Russian military support and propaganda, escalated into a protracted war of attrition, claiming thousands of lives and displacing millions of people. The Minsk agreements, signed in 2014 and 2015, aimed to bring an end to the fighting but ultimately failed to achieve a lasting peace. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, marking a dramatic escalation of the ongoing conflict. The invasion, which Russian President Vladimir Putin justified as a special military operation to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine, sent shockwaves across the world. The initial phase of the invasion saw Russian forces advance on multiple fronts, targeting key cities, including Kiev, Kharkiv, and Odessa. However, the Russian military faced fierce resistance from Ukrainian forces and encountered logistical challenges, slowing their advance. As the war progressed, the conflict evolved into a war of attrition, with both sides suffering heavy casualties and inflicting significant damage on infrastructure. The conflict has also witnessed the widespread use of artillery, missiles, and drones, resulting in a devastating humanitarian crisis. The ongoing war in Ukraine has had a devastating humanitarian impact, with millions of people displaced internally and externally. The conflict has also resulted in widespread destruction of civilian infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and residential areas. The war has had a profound impact on the global economy, disrupting supply chains, fueling inflation, and exacerbating food insecurity, particularly in countries dependent on Ukrainian grain exports. The conflict has also heightened geopolitical tensions, leading to a renewed focus on defense spending and a reassessment of security alliances. The future of the conflict remains uncertain. While peace talks have been initiated, they have yet to yield a breakthrough. The conflict has exposed the fault lines in the international order and raised questions about the future of European security.